Good afternoon, good evening, DPFers. We're having a party here, guys. This is a fun time to be a Phillies fan. Although Chris is pissed off because he had to build a piece of furniture just now, and IKEA is a pain in the ass. But we're pretty happy. Like, think about it for a quick second, right? We're calling this season 2, episode 15, best team in baseball. Phillies are the best team in baseball right now. They're 37-14 after today's win, 6 games up over the Braves. They decided to rank the Phillies number 1 in the power rankings. We've got 2 pitchers that are in the top 5 in pitcher power ranking. We've got Trey Turner's been out for almost 3 weeks. I think tomorrow is 3 weeks. And our folks have filled in around him. I think JT extended his hitting streak to 16 games today. He's hitting in the 2-hole for Trey. This is a really fun time, guys. So I guess the very first thing I want to talk about is, best 50 game start since the 2001 Mariners. And I thought it was really interesting. Some reporter asked Topper about this last night, and Topper said to him, "So what did they do?" And the guy goes, "They won 116 games." And he goes, No. What did they do at the end of the year? And the guy goes, well, they didn't win a championship. And he goes, exactly. He goes, we need to keep pushing. This is a great start. Their guys are playing really well, but we got to keep pushing. So, just to throw it out there to you guys, what do you guys think about this start? 37-14. Whoever wants to go.
I mean, yeah, we talked all off season about wanting to see the Phillies come out and have a quick start, because in years past they haven't really done that. They've struggled coming out of the gates, and it looked like they might struggle after the first 2 series against Atlanta and then Cincinnati, where they were kind of playing 500 ball early on, and Atlanta took it to them early in those first two games of that series. But they righted the ship really quick, and I think it's been on the back of the starting pitching. I mean, their starting pitching has been so good, so dominant, going deep in games almost every start. I think today they said this is the 19th game that a starter's gone into the 7th inning. It's unheard of, especially in today's game, the way they baby the starters and usually try and get them out of there after the 5th or 6th and the 3rd time through the lineup. So, I still don't even think this team's hit their stride yet. I don't think they've played their best baseball. I still think there are some areas that they can improve upon. So it's really going to be fun because, we've seen the past 2 years, this team really seems to hit their stride come June, July, August. They play really well in the warmer months. And to have such a nice jump on the season going into those months where they typically play well, it could sets up for a really fun summer with this team.
The other stat that I remember is the team with the second most pitchers into the 7th inning was Atlanta with 11. So now even extended that lead over them.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just remember DPF is On Tap is brought to you by Pensive Technology. Check them out for all your networking, internet, and home automation needs at pensivetechnology.com today. I'll throw it over to Chris. Chris, is this the greatest team in Phillies history? If yes, why? If no,
I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant first.
Yeah, go.
Of this, I am fucking sick and fucking tired of motherfucking Facebook fucking with our posts. Number one, I am fucking sick of this cocksucking motherfucking StreamYard fucking with the things. We're not live again today, guys. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we're paying for this fucking StreamYard. We're not on fucking Facebook. Like, that's where our fucking people are. We're like talking to the fucking wind. I'm so fucking pissed off.
I'm getting a bunch of texts too.
Yeah, I just checked.
It might have course corrected because there's 2 comments now. So I'm not positive, but now there's 3 comments.
Yeah,
are they from Facebook or YouTube?
It's Twitter and YouTube.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fucking sick of it. And you know what else? Fuck George Bush. Fuck Jeb Bush. fuck the Bush Library. And a side note, that's what I used to call my dad's nudie mag cache, the Bush Library. And fuck Bush Furniture.
That's funny.
So is it the greatest team ever? You know what? You can't see. No, it's not. Is it the greatest start ever? Yeah, but greatest team, I think they have to win it. I think it's one of those things where, like, we'll look back at, like, it's the Mariners. I'm thinking of that 2001, like 116. Everyone's like, wow, that was really good. Or, a couple of the Cubs teams, I think in the early 1900s had plus 100. And if you don't win the big one, it's kind of like, then we feel like the Braves last year, and get their ass kicked. So while I think, I'm happy about it. And honestly, like today, I didn't want to be pissed off. I didn't intend to, but here I am.
There you go. What about you, John? What do you think they have to do to earn that moniker? Like, I tend to agree with what Chris said, but is that the only thing they have to do is win the title to get that moniker?
Yeah, you have to you have to win the World Series. You got to go out and you got to put on the whole show. You don't put on just 3 acts and go, all right, good night. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to, we were so close. We shouldn't have lost to the damn Diamondbacks last year. We should have went to the World Series. Now, we might have got our clocks cleaned by the Rangers last year, but who knows? At least you get the dance, you know what I mean? But, yeah, you got to go and you got to win it to get that title. And, worldwide, national media is not going to let us have it until we do that anyway. So you might as well,
Definitely.
So I just did some fucking magic, and we're on Facebook now, boys. So
look at you, look at you. You fix furniture and you're
fucking banging away.
Enough.
You're like the Fonz over there. You hit the laptop and it works. Like, hey.
Oh, that's funny. What I was going to say, Dugan, is, what do you say to these folks that, we just beat the world champions 3 games in a row, but now they're not 500 because we beat them 3 games in a row, and now they're, they're not any kind of competition. What do you say to those folks?
I think first things first is look around the league. How many goddamn teams are over 500 in baseball right now? Not many. I think the National League has 4 or 5, and the American League another 4 or 5. You only have about 10 teams that are actually over 500 at this point. But Mike, we were talking last night down at the game, and you had a great comment. You don't get to 100 wins by you have to beat the bad teams. That's how you get to 100 wins. You beat the bad teams. The Phillies can't control who's on their schedule, and they can't control what their record is when they show up at Citizens Bank Park, or when we show up at their stadium. They can't control what it is when they leave. And the Phillies so far have been taking care of business and making sure their record's 2 or 3 more losses, when they leave Citizens Bank Park, or when we're pulling our buses out of town. So you got to take care of business, especially against teams you're supposed to beat. And the Phillies are doing it, obviously for the franchise at a historic rate right now, and that's great to see.
If we're playing the Marlins 51 games in Florida or here, like, I'm happy with 37 wins. I think it's crazy. So, like, to even, like, say that, like, oh, we're not playing good teams, like, we didn't make the schedule. Bills didn't. Like, shit.
Yeah.
You play who you play. Like, fuck it. I don't know. And you know what? Fuck the world champs, man, because they just got their ass handed to them.
They sure did.
And it wasn't even close.
No.
So right now we have 3, like, kind of the early MVP dark horse candidates in Harper, Bowman, Suarez, right? It's a quarter of the way through the season. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Maybe start with Chris. And, is there any validity to these, early, kind of polls, or are you not putting any weight in those?
I didn't see any Philly in the top 10 of any of the MVP, like, whatever, MLB and Fox News. So, like, that's surprising, but I think it's just them being assholes. Right now, like, how could you not think that Bohm is not probably the leader. But like, I don't know. Can this dude Ranger win the Cy Young and MVP the same year? Is it possible? Because it looks like it could be. I mean,
Right.
it's unlikely, but I think like a goalkeeper can win the Vezina and win the Player of the Year. So like, why can't Ranger? I think Harper's having a good year. I think his home run numbers are good, and I think he's I don't know his exact numbers, but I think he's inching upon 300. But boom, like this dude, like I think 39 of his RBIs were with two outs. Like, holy shit. If that's not clutch and focus. But at this point, I think they're all stars at least, right? So we're talking about, that kind of MVPs, but I think it's too early. I don't know. Like, Nick Castellanos could have a good, second half, right? And be like, wow, he's got like 30 home runs now. So I'm enjoying that ride of the players that are, but Ranger's the one, man. Like, Ranger's the dude. You always saw glimpses of this. And boom, with two outs, like he did it last year too, in runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
This dude has laser focus or something changes. And it's just been amazing to watch him. Perfect four-hitter now.
His average is like 450 or something like that with two outs and runners in scoring position. It's outrageous. And just to circle back on Harper, Chris, because I have the stats here, he's 281, 12 homers, 37 RBIs. So it's a pretty solid start to the season with a 390 on base percentage too. So
Yep.
A lot of walks, 32 walks already. So
They said Bohm overall with runners in scoring position is hitting 395. So
yeah, I think with two strikes, it's up over like 450 or something.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's about time he's got some respect too. I've been defending this dude since his rookie year. People have been talking shit. Even last year he had a decent year, and people were talking shit. Now I don't hear nothing.
I think the big thing was his glove, and dramatically. It's unbelievable. But he went from being not belonging on the field to being almost a plus defender. Like, he is really, really turned himself into a good defender. Tribute to him and his hard work.
Yeah, he's got to be one of the hardest workers on the team, even in the off season.
Yeah. Amazing.
Thank fucking God we didn't get Machado or Arenado or none of that bullshit. Oh my God.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
I was
to go
not
back
a
and delete
Machado
all
fan
our
at
Arenado
all.
posts.
Well, that's why I made that meme last year. I said Arenado over me, like the Tobias Harris over me, and I had Bohm like the.
Yeah.
Very cool. Hey guys, we don't know much, the four of us, honestly, but we know beer. So if you're out and about, I know Chris has at the garage on tap. Looks like I got fruit punch, high tide, and a Philly Standard. By the way, we did not plan that. So that's basically all of the brands of Philly Standard. Check them out at yards or at your local distributor. If they don't have it, ask them; they'll get it. And then remember, when Kyle goes yard the next day on their app, you can go to any of the participating bars and restaurants and get a free beer on Kyle. Hey guys, you up for some trivia?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because last time we didn't do any, so today we're going to do two, I think. You want to do hitters or pitchers? Somebody pick.
Pitchers.
All right. Can you choose the pitchers who have won multiple Cy Young Awards and multiple World Series championships? There are 8. This is all in the modern era, by the way.
Roger Clemens.
That's one.
Mariano Rivera.
Rivera is not one.
Maddox.
Steve Carlton.
Hold on. Maddox, did you say?
Yeah.
Is not one. And who was the second one?
Carlton.
You said multiple World Series, right? Multiple World Series.
Won multiple Cy Youngs and multiple World Series, yes.
And Carlton won one with the Cardinals too, right?
Yep. So Carlton and Clemens, you got 2 out of 8 so far.
Randy Johnson.
Not on the list.
Kurt.
Schilling. Yeah, I was about to say Schilling.
Schilling is not on the list.
Hmm.
Let's think here.
Scherzer.
Pettit? Andy Pettit?
Who did somebody say Scherzer?
Yeah.
Yep, Scherzer is correct. And what did you say?
Pettit?
He
Pettit?
said Pettit.
Yeah.
Pettit is
How
not.
about Verlander? Verlander.
Verlander is one. So we've got Verlander, Scherzer, Clemens, and Carlton. We're halfway home. 4 out of 8.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. David Cohn.
No. David Cohn.
No. Okay.
Bob Gibson.
Did you hear Chris, Mike?
No, what do you say?
He said Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson is one. Yes.
Koufax.
Koufax is one. Yes. You're at 6 out of 8.
Who else? No, he never won a
Right
Cy Young.
now, John, Colin, and Colin twice have Verlander and Mad Max. So all good guesses, guys. You're right. Do you want me to give you a one is and one isn't?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, I'll give you 3. So 2 are not and 1 is. Brett Saberhagen, Clayton Kershaw, or Tim Lincecum.
Which one is we're saying?
1
Kershaw.
is, 2 is not. Kershaw, not correct.
I know they only won 1. That's right. Damn.
Who was the first one you said?
Brett Saberhagen.
That was my guess. Saberhagen.
Nope. Tim
What?
Lincecum.
Lincecum? Oh yeah, Giants
right-
won there.
Yeah.
Right now, we're at Bob Gibson, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Sandy Koufax, Steve Carlton, Tim Lincecum, and Roger Clemens. So my last one is Tom Seaver, Denny McClain, or Jim Palmer.
Palmer.
You got it. So those are our 8. Bob Gibson, Jim Palmer, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Roger Clemens, Sandy Koufax, Steve Carlton, and Tim Lincecum. I cannot say his name. All won multiple Cy Young Awards and multiple World Series championships. I thought that was cool.
Awesome. Cool question.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was
Hopefully
cool.
Zach Wheeler will be added to that in a couple of years.
Yeah.
That would be good because that would mean we would have a couple of World Series.
And a couple of Cy Youngs.
Right. So I was reading a little bit about Ellie De La Cruz. You guys are familiar, right? He's up to 30 stolen bases already this year. So then if you go back and look, we've not seen 100 steal seasons since Vince Coleman in 1987. I guess what I want to know is, does this excite you? Is there an asterisk because of the new rules encouraging more running? Maybe we can start with Dugan and then go around the room.
No, I think it's exciting because I think, obviously I think the rules help. The pitch clock, you kind of can time up when you're going to take off now, and it's limited with the amount of times you can throw over to keep you close and the bigger bases. So the rules do encourage stealing, but I think it's exciting. It brings back a part of the game that was missing for a long time during these analytic years, where they weren't willing to take the chance of an out, trying to steal a base. So I think it's exciting. I think Acuna stole 80 something last year. He was 86 or something like that. I remember those days with the Cardinals and Vince Coleman and Willie McGee and, even Tommy Herr. They were all stealing 50, 60, 70, 80. Ricky Henderson stealing 100 bags a year. It's exciting. It's an exciting play. I don't think the rules give the catchers much of a chance to throw guys out like they used to have. But if you got a guy that can run, you see the Phillies do it all the time. Rojas steals bases and Stott, Marsh, some of our guys that can run. The Phillies steal a lot more bases, now than they have in the previous 10 years. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. I like to see those aspects of the game coming back.
John, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think it's exciting because I think I said it on another episode. I miss the days of like Dugan Sayed, like Henderson and all those. Rule schmules, it's a part of baseball. So whether the rules help it or not, like I'm glad to see a part of like me, like because it was gone for a little while, not gone, but you didn't see like a not a specialist, but that one guy like dominating like on the bags like that. So it is nice to see to come back. I would like to see. Now I want everybody on the team to be able to steal a base, but I would like to see it go back to the old days of like every team had that one dude, that one bag thief. You know what I mean? Like I would like to see it return to that somewhat. But yeah, it's exciting. I wish Button would make more of a comeback, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm with it. I like to see more of it.
Chris, any thoughts?
So I enjoy it. The only negative that I'm going to say with this dude is like we all have the baseball sickness, right? And I don't know if you guys have watched like either the Phillies aren't on or like it's a late night game. This dude's fucking swiping bags up 6 and 7, and he's like swiping third.
Yeah,
he's a little bit of an asshole. So like I don't love that part of it. Like there's those unwritten rules, and this dude doesn't give a shit about them.
yeah.
I don't know if I'm asking this question out loud, and Dugan, you're probably better. Like if a guy scores 50 goals, but 6 of them are open netters, is it still a 50-goal season?
There's your asterisk, Mike.
There
goes the asterisk. And talking about things
with an asshole 6 times.
Yeah, talking about things that need to come back in the game as far as like steals coming back, Chris. Like you're saying, if he's stealing up 6-7 runs late in the game, somebody needs to wear one, man. Somebody needs to wear one. That's how you stop that shit.
I've seen it at least twice by him this year, and I'm just like, really, like, and he's obviously doing it to just pump up numbers, and cool. Like, if he can get it and the guy can't throw him out, then fuck it. But it's also like, I don't know, if you're up 6 or 7 and after the 7th, like, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, you don't do that. That's fugazi.
Yeah.
I sent you guys a video a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you saw it. It was a Chase Utley video, and it was kind of about this subject with when he was with the Dodgers. He was up to bat, and Yusel Puig was on first. They were up by 8 runs or something like that. And Puig tries to steal a base, and Utley fouled the pitch off. And he turned around the catcher, and he told him, he's like, tell your pitcher to drill me with the next pitch. And the catcher's like, why the hell you want us to drill you? He said, because I want to teach him a lesson about stealing up this big. And he'll only listen to me if he feels sorry for me and thinks that, I got thrown at because of it. So the next pitch comes and they don't throw at him. And Utley turns around and the catcher goes, you're a fucking pussy. I said, perfect. Like, it's perfect. It's a great Chase Utley story, but it goes back to, to this. You don't steal when you're up that. Somebody pays for it when you do that dumb shit, Somebody's got to pay. And it might be one of your teammates. It might be you, I
think you just got Papa Joe excited there, Dugan.
Yeah, I dropped the P word. Sorry, Renee.
I mean, we got to talk about this then. So I agree. The other night, we talked about it. Alonso should have worn one, and we didn't do it. Nobody does it. Why is that? Although some people do it, you just you don't hear about it because it's Milwaukee against whoever, the Mets. Do a couple of other.
And we don't have a manager that has balls that lets us do it. You know what I mean? I mean, Charlie will let Cole Hamels get away with being on Bryce Harper. Welcome into the league. Remember, he's like, "Welcome to the league." Doink.
Yeah.
Yep.
We haven't had a manager with a spine since then.
Yep.
Nancy, I don't know what time it was. Maybe I do. Yes, I do. 7:03. Fuck the Mets. Thank you, Nancy. This is a great question. Let's answer this. Boise wants to know, is Ranger past Nola as the number 2?
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say 3, but I like Chris's answers better.
No hesitation. I love it.
Trace Nola.
Freddie wants to know if Jenna Bush too. I think it was on your tirade of F the Bushes. So are you throwing?
Well, if she's a Bush, yeah. Is it like George's daughter or something like that?
I think it's George W.'s daughter.
She's the one to Today Show or whatever.
Oh yeah, fuck that Bush.
By the way, I don't know if you guys know, but I think Steve and Sig are at the same brewery, so that's weird.
Post game brewing.
Yep, they're gonna run out of beer. Those two guys there.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Nancy said, agree. They have to win it all to be the greatest. A lot can happen between now and October. That's for sure. Thanks,
a lot of
Bud.
winning can happen.
The Mets. Here's a good one. I love how Dugans is in an 80s panel basement and John's in a chalet in the south of France.
This is Naughty Pine, Boise. You better settle down, man. This is Naughty Pine.
A chalet. Oh, that's good.
I don't know what that means. What is RISP? Had previously been such an issue. Oh, runners and
scoring position.
You're right, Nancy. It was for a long time.
It was for a while.
We struggled, but now the boys have picked it up for sure.
Base running still here and there. You'll still see an issue, but
yeah.
Philip, good evening. What an amazing ride so far. There isn't much even to complain about. We'll get to a couple of things, I think.
Yeah, we'll just make shit up if we have to.
Yeah.
Steve, again, at a brewery after going to the game. Fuck the Rangers. Middleton wants his trophy back. One more. At least in this group, we only complain when something's wrong. The other team pages are nothing but complainers, even with what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Just wanted to go over a couple of the comments that we've had so far. Hey, just remember, everyone, all y'all out there in DPRville and land. If you go on to SeatGeek with the code DrunkPhilsFan, all caps, all one word, you get $20 off of your first purchase. So super excited that SeatGeek is now one of our sponsors. So I want to throw this out. I mean, anybody can comment, but I'd really love to, if Dugan, if you could start us. Should Cody Clemens continue his clutch performances? What should the roster move when Trey Turner is ready to come back off the IL?
That's a good question, Mike. Clemens has been unbelievable. He's been great. And pretty much like we said before, all the guys they've used to kind of fill in for Turner, Sosa and Clemens and not so much Merrifield, but the other guys have really swung the bats well. I think the Phillies are they kind of have the luxury now to really look at their entire roster, and it doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, have to be a position player that they send back down when Turner comes back, because of our starters going so deep. Right now they're carrying an 8-man bullpen. Maybe that's one guy too many in the bullpen. And you can look at the bullpen and say, hey, at least for a couple weeks, maybe we can carry a 5-man bench and keep Clemens and keep Pache and keep, everybody that we have on our bench up here. And like the guy they just added, that like Jose Ruiz, I know he's pitched well, but maybe he's the guy that gets sent back down. And then if we get into an issue where our starters aren't going deep and our bullpen starts getting a little overused, then you got to make a roster decision as far as a position player for a relief guy to come up to give you some help. I mean, I think I heard today on the game, the Phillies have the lowest innings pitched out of their bullpen in all of baseball, which makes sense because of how deep all our starters are going. So you can kind of take advantage of that. If these starters are going to keep going 6 and 7, maybe you can eliminate one of the bullpen guys and keep all your bats on the bench, and now you have a little more balance with left and right, and you could pinch run maybe a little more because you're not going to worry about burning a guy like Pache. Let him go in and run for Schwarber in the late inning, the 7th or 8th inning, and you'll still have another extra guy on the bench. So, that's kind of my out of the box thinking is maybe it's a bullpen guy that gets sent down, and you can keep everybody else on the bench. Other than that, I really don't know what they would do because I think it's tough. I don't think they want to get rid of Pache, and he'd have to clear waivers. Merrifield, you're not doing nothing with him. You paid him $8 million. He's sticking around. He's not going anywhere, at least until later in the season, and maybe he gets the what was his name, the shortstop that we got rid of a couple years ago after signing the big deal.
Didi Gregorius.
Didi, yeah, maybe he gets the Didi treatment. No, it was Didi.
Last year.
It was Didi, and they got rid of Harrison too, but he didn't sign a big. He was $2 million.
Yeah, 1 year guy.
Yeah, but they jettisoned Didi in the middle of the season. Maybe Merrifield gets that treatment middle of the season if he's still not swinging the bat well. But right now, I'm thinking bullpen guy.
Chris, John, thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines of Dugan. The only thing I'm worried about is I was thinking Ruiz would be the unlucky one because we always stock up our bullpen more than our bench. We do it every year. And like Dugan was saying, you do have the luxury of these guys going longer in games. So you might be able to, send the guy down. But also, I'm worried about, I don't know when he's coming back, but what do you do when Marte comes back too? What do you do there? Because he's going to need a spot too. You got to figure that out when he comes back. But I was all for Cody Clemens making the team out of camp over Cave. But everybody was fascinated with Cave coming, and thank God he's gone. And we'll blow them out of the water this weekend. But yeah, I'm all for him staying up. I just at first I was for DFA and Pache, but I'm like, nah, I kind of want him on the bench as a runner, pinch hitter, whatever. Filling in the outfield.
A couple hits today too, right?
Yeah, filling in the outfield and all. Like I kind of came around on him. Like I changed my mind about that. But yeah, it would probably be. I agree with Dugan. It'd probably be a bullpen spot that would go down.
Rojas is worthless, and so is Whit Merrifield.
So
I don't think either one were going anywhere, though. I don't think either one of them are going anywhere.
Why do they insist on this Rojas experiment continuing? You guys said 240s at 220, 218 or 219 or something like that now. I think I said 280. I was maybe a little high. I don't know. But he dives when he doesn't have to and drops the ball often. I know he gets to balls, but so does Pache, so does Marsh. He's got options. Why don't we let him go and get some at-bats and learn how to bunt in AAA and then bring him back later? Like, I don't understand. Like, am I off base?
I was behind it at first, but I mean, like you said, he's trying the Sports Center play when he doesn't have to sometimes. The old, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And last year, he was pulling plays out of his ass, like actually out of pure heart and hustle. Now it's just like, it's hustling, but now he's just trying to do some flashy shit. I need him to be about 240 at least, but then the problem is it dips every 2 games. He'll be at like 250, and then I'll be like 187, and it's like every couple of games, he'll have a couple games, and then he goes down for 5, and it's like, yeah, I agree. Maybe you let Pache try center field for a while, but Martian left.
It's I think Chris was it last year. I was like anti-Pache, then things changed, and I'm like, I want this guy to play, right? If Rojas can't hit, can't bunt, can't field, and can't run, is he a good clubhouse guy? No, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like he's
we already got one guy bringing the vibes, right?
One of them.
Yeah,
we got DJ Stubbs.
Yeah, we don't. Who gives a shit? We don't need that. Would you trust Rojas coming in as a pinch runner, like for Schwarber? If we, no, fuck no. He's an idiot.
He's gonna get picked off.
Yeah.
But then I don't
Nancy's,
trust
I
Wentz
mean,
either.
Nancy's right, because this is a really nice problem to have, right? We can't figure out
Yeah.
who to send down when the
It's-
$300 million player gets off the IL. I mean, that is a
Yeah.
nice problem to have for sure.
You know what's
Papa
crazy
John
too?
says Rojas has to go. So there you go. He has spoken.
You know what's crazy too? We're doing all this without Turner.
Like fuck trade Turner. Fucking trade him.
Sosa started 14 out of 16 games and he's looking great. Like the little guys are coming through, like Pache and Sosa, and that's about it. Because we're Merrifield and Rosas ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
Well, I have to make a dream come true here. So Steve said I missed the dumbass of the week. So
Me too, Steve.
So today we'll talk about a gentleman named Daredevil. So this week's dumbass started driving obnoxiously through the streets of New York City and Newark, New Jersey, with the moniker Squeeze Benz. Sorry. He's either driving a Lamborghini or a BMW. And he's been doing this since April 18th. Finally, this past weekend in Newark, they caught up with him. Let me just give you a couple of quick things. He was going through the streets of Manhattan at over 130 miles an hour while people were walking in crosswalks. He was on video online when he picked up a passenger, posing as an Uber driver. He has a helmet on and he's going over 130 miles an hour. The passenger looks in the video like he's just freaking out. He was on video driving recklessly, spinning donuts around cop cars, blowing through countless red lights, and all the while he's streaming this thing live. So finally, in a combined effort with the New York City Police Department and the Newark, New Jersey Police Department, they finally caught up with this gentleman over this past weekend, and he is now facing felony reckless endangerment and countless other felony driving charges. He faces 10-year suspended license and also possible up to 30 years in prison. And this gentleman is 19 years old. So Mr. What was his name? Squeeze Benz, you're our dumbass of the week. And Steve, I'm glad I could help you on your
He's probably a fucking Mets fan too.
Yeah, definitely.
I would imagine.
He's from Yonkers.
Dude, they have the video. The guy that he picked up is like
that might be a kidnapping charge too. If he
could be.
Yeah. Wow.
He should move to Philly. Like they'll do fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Larry,
I mean, it's been going on for a couple of months, so it took him a while to catch this guy.
Wow.
Hey, I'm glad I actually had that teed up, Steve. I want to get your take on this, guys, because I have my opinion. And so over the weekend, high school senior in Harper's neighborhood knocked on his door and asked him to help him ask his crush to the prom. First of all, I want to know, how big do you think that dude's balls are for knocking on Harper's door? Second of all, how cool is it that Harper did this, and will it lead to more of these type situations in the future, do you think? What do you think, John?
I think it's cool that Harper did it for him, I guess. Yeah, he's got some big cojones, like trying to. What I think. I mean, do you think he maybe just reached him through social media? Do you think he lives in his neighborhood? Maybe he knocked on his door.
He knocked on his door, is what it
Yeah.
said. Mm-hmm.
If I see some kid on my Ring doorbell, like, who the fuck is this? Like, I paid the paper boy.
The whole story was Harper said, "Give me your email. I'll figure out a time." And then the kid started to walk away, and Harper was like, "You know what? Let's just go do it now." And they went and did it.
It's cool. I think it's cool. He had a little moment. Now, if the girl talks to him when Harper's not there, that's the key.
She did hug him first.
Like, what's Bryce? Like, what the fuck? It's a package deal.
I think it's very cool. It's one of those things where, like, these prom proposals now, or whatever they're called, like, I don't know, man. I'm not loving the whole thing. Like, it's a whole big extravaganza. I don't know. Can it be like just like when we were young? It's just like, hey, I don't have a girlfriend, and your mom's like, hey, you know what? My friend Susie has a daughter, and you're like, all right, well, I guess I'll fucking take Jenny there then. I don't know, like, you know.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. You gotta watch out nowadays. Like, if some kid like has a promposal, he's like, "Oh, cool! I know what time she gets home from school," and jumps out of the bushes. And Dad hits a shotgun. Blows your face off. Was it really worth it, dude? You know what I mean? Not half your face is distorted.
That's funny.
You gotta be careful. Watch them bushes, right, Chris? Fuck the bushes.
Fuck the bushes.
I just thought it was a pretty cool story, so I thought I'd get your take on it.
So he like, it wasn't like his dad knew Bryce, or he wasn't like, you know, a benefit. You know, he didn't like donate to Bryce's like.
He lives in Bryce's neighborhood, like Nancy had commented. Is one of his neighbors, but he still had to go up and knock on his door. It's not like he hangs out at his house. You know what I mean? He still had to get up the nerve to, hey, will you help me out with this? And I don't know. I thought he had really huge cojones. And
I found the real scoop.
What's that?
The real scoop. It's really, Boris didn't have to go that far. It's his landscaper's daughter. He just went to the guest house.
Maybe. Cool. Hey, I just got a few more topics. Can we talk a little bit, and maybe Dugan, you can field this one first, and then everybody else can chime in. But we were at the game last night, and Turnbull was getting loose, and instead we opted for the Crypt Keeper, right? So, can you talk a little bit about how you feel Topper's handling Turnbull right now?
I think it's tough. I think it's tough because, and I think it's a tough spot for Turnbull because, you know, you guys know, being pitchers, warming up as a starter is a lot different than warming up as a reliever. And I would think that holds true even if you're going to be a guy who's a multiple inning reliever. I think that changes your routine. I mean, I know, you know, anybody that goes down the game, you see the starting pitcher out there usually about 35 minutes before the game, going through their stretching, going through their long toss, going through, you know, their shoulder exercises and everything. And now you're asking Turnbull, who kind of prepared that way through the first, you know, 3-4 weeks of the season, to now have to jump up and get ready real quick and get loose real quick. And I think it's affected his performance. I think we've seen him, you know, get hit around a little bit in some of these games. So it's a tough spot. I think it's now back to Turnbull to kind of teach himself how to prepare as a bullpen guy and a get ready quick kind of guy. So it you know, it's a tough spot for both Topper and for Turnbull, because Walker's making $20-something million, you know, and he's going to be in the rotation. Turnbull's not. Turnbull's coming off arm injuries. The Phillies are going to be careful with his innings. So you know, I'd like to see more of a piggyback situation, like with Walker and Turnbull. Like, Walker seems to struggle once he gets past the fifth inning. So why not have Turnbull ready to go, 6, 7, and 8, or, at least 2 innings every one of his starts. And that way he can prepare like a starter all week, knowing he's going to pitch multiple innings when Walker comes around. And you just, after the fifth, you take Walker out, regardless of how he's pitching. You get him out, and you got Turnbull, and you have at least have 2 starters. And then in an emergency situation, Turnbull's ready to step into the rotation because he's still kind of stretched out. He's still built like a starter. It's just it's another one of them good problems to have. Having too many arms is a good problem.
So Chris, you mentioned, Walker struggles post the 6, which is, it's obvious, but he also struggles early. So do you think there's a chance that they could go to high school softball pitcher rules and have Turnbull start, pitch the first 2, have Walker pitch the middle 3, and then re-enter.
Little re-entry rule.
Little NBO, new batting order.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? I think that he's obviously a starter. He's not a reliever, and they're going to keep him around as insurance. But to me, he's trade bait. Like, he's gone, like, at the trade deadline, and they're going to get a reliever for this guy. But who do you trade him to? Is it someone that's out of the – because I don't want to face this dude. I think he's that good. I don't want to trade him to someone that the Phillies could run into. And, that's where it gets difficult. It's like, who is a viable, maybe not even a closer, but possibly, because if you look at any of the troubles, like the Phillies back end of the bullpen may have been good, but like, I don't trust a lot of the guys right now. And, I think you need that one extra person. And I think he's your most possible to be moved because he is just an extra. He's not a reliever. He's not Dylan Covey, so it's impossible. This dude's in such a bad spot. And we're going to have to see, but Walker is often hurt or something else happens to one of the other guys, or, like Sanchez has been good. So it's like, what do you do here? And they like, the other left-hander. I think if Turnbull's left-handed, I don't know. Maybe it's between him and Sanchez. Or do they go with the, 6-man?
Yeah, I don't know if they want to do that because of Wheeler. Yeah. Wheeler has a preference to stay on schedule, and you want to keep your ace happy,
Yeah.
So.
I think too, right? Noel wants to stay on schedule too, I heard.
Yeah.
So when the top 2 guys you just paid a bunch of money to say they want to stay on schedule, you kind of got to listen a little bit.
And I don't want to mess up Ranger either. I mean, that guy's in such a goddamn groove. You don't want to screw up Ranger. I mean, it's a tough spot. It's another good problem to have, though. It's another good problem.
It is. And I don't hope Walker gets hurt again, but I kind of, best case scenario, I hope he sucks so bad that they're like we got to do something. Like Turnbull, you're in. And Walker, I don't know. You're just going to sit in the pen for a while. We'll figure it out. Like you guys said, it's a tough spot. It's a shame because he's done everything and anything we've asked him to do, and he's excelled.
Yeah.
So you said it, Chris, and I had a thought here. Like, is it possible that the Phillies could deal for a dedicated closer? If so, who would you want, and what are you willing to give up for him? And what does the 6th through 9th inning assignments look like if there's that dedicated closer in place?
Yeah, I mean, I think you move Rojas and Turnbull if possible, and you get someone who's, it's going to be someone who's out of the mix. And with now, like, every fucking team making the playoffs, it's so tough to, like, have someone be out of the mix in July because they're kind of like, hey, we're only 7 out. We could possibly be in it. So I think that the extending has helped the Phillies in the past, but it also stops trades from trades in this way. Because like you would think it's the normal guys. You're like, oh, who on the Royals, who on the Pirates that we could grab. It's kind of like those usual suspects, or any fucking guy the Rays ever get. Like, even if he's like the 6th guy out of the bullpen, he's always amazing, Or is it the A's?
The groundskeeper's kid got a fucking rocket.
Yeah, I mean, I would trade Turnbull for that Mason Miller straight up, no doubt,
Yeah.
immediately. Like right now, absolutely do it. Because fuck it, why not? Like this dude's a high leverage, max output, short inning guy. He's going to be that type of pitcher that you need. And Turnbull's not that dude, but he's
here's the question: is he the same guy coming to Philadelphia and pitching in real high leverage situations than pitching in kind of if we win in Oakland, we win. If not, we don't even have a fucking city to play in next year. I mean, the stress of playing in Philadelphia is, does the kid have the right makeup to?
I don't know what college he went to. Do you guys know? Like maybe that would help because if he's been in D1 and he's like pitched in the world, so like that might help. But right now he's like, yeah, fuck it. There's like 6,000 people here.
I mean, I'd be surprised if the Phillies make a move. I honestly would. I think they're comfortable with this, closer by committee. They like the guys at the back end of their bullpen. They like the guys that are on their roster. They like their prospects. I don't think they're moving anybody.
I got one. Mason Miller was on my short list. I got one from last year. I said we try to revisit that Class A fucking move, but take Crawford out of it and throw another prospect in there. And the
Guardians are playing well though.
Guardians are saying it would depend on if they're in it or not. If they're out of it at the deadline, I'd revisit that. I'd throw.
And the guy's 20, 25 and under control for the next 3 or 4 years. He's going to be tough to get, and that's why you got to give up your number one prospect to get him because he's got all that control. You're going to have him for 3 or 4 years. He's not a rental. He's not a rental.
Yeah, my pick to subtract for Crawford wouldn't be popular among some people, but fuck it. We got. I would throw Ada Miller in his place. Because you know why? Because we got a whole influx of a lot of infield talent.
I can tell you who I don't want as a closer. It's Edwin Diaz, a fucking closer that's crying. What the fucking bullshit is that?
Yeah.
A fucking closer that's crying, dude.
Mets gonna Met.
You can play a lot of sad songs on their trumpet, There are a lot of sad
That's
songs.
all.
Yeah.
You guys are teeing me up here, and you don't even know it. So we're gonna do a trivia, and then we'll get to the last couple of topics tonight. But we're gonna say there's 10 pitchers that have at least 40 saves in a season on more than one occasion. So I'll say that again. There are 10 pitchers that had at least 40 saves in a season more than once. Can you name those 10?
Mariano Rivera.
Let's see. Mariano Rivera is correct.
Hoffman.
Trevor Hoffman is correct.
Billy Wagner
is not correct.
Lee Smith.
What was it?
Lee Smith.
No.
No.
Eckersley, Dennis Eckersley.
That's correct.
Bobby Thigpen.
Not correct.
Craig Kimbrell.
Craig Kimbrell is correct.
Smoltz.
John Smoltz is correct.
How about who was the guy from the Dodgers?
Gagne?
Eric Gagne is correct.
Goggles, dude. Yeah, I used to call him Goggles Gagne.
So you got 6 out of 10 so far. Craig Kimbrell, Dennis Eckersley, Eric Gagne, John Smoltz, Mariano Rivera,
how about
and
Wilson?
Trevor Hoffman.
Wilson with the Giants. Brian Wilson with the Giants.
Oh,
not correct.
I thought in those couple World Series years he had some big save years.
I'm trying to think.
Is it Edwin Diaz?
Not correct. Maybe that's why he's sad.
I don't think John Rocker never put up 40 saves in a season, did he?
Nah.
No.
40 N-bombs, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of teams that
Maybe.
win a lot. A lot of wins, and the closers getting a lot of closing
Yeah.
opportunities.
You want to go either or?
Yeah, why not?
How many
All
more we
right.
need? 4?
4.
Wait, we can come up with 4, I think. I'm going through the teams in my head, so I'm.
Oh, who was the guy? Oh man, the Twins. I think he was with the Twins.
Oh, I know who you're
Joe
talking about
Nathan?
too.
Joe
What'd you say?
Nathan?
Yes,
Joe
that
Nathan.
is number 7. 3 to go.
John Wetland?
No.
That's a good guess. I like that, John Whitland.
Todd Worrell.
No. Good answer or good guess though.
Shit, man.
All right, let's do either or.
All right. Either Troy Percival or Jose Mesa.
Mesa.
Percival.
Mesa.
Percival.
Yep.
Wow.
Mike's reaction gave it away.
Either
I don't think you heard Mesa.
either Derek Lowe or Fernando Rodney.
No.
I would think
Not
it's
Lowe.
Rodney.
Rodney,
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
last
stupid
one.
fucking
Either
arrow.
Francisco Rodriguez or Bruce Sutter.
Suter was a guy I was thinking of.
Sutter, yeah.
With the Cardinals.
I'll say F-Rod.
F-Rod
Sutter.
is correct. So the
Wow.
10
I was wrong
are
when I was
Craig,
thinking about Suter too.
Craig Kimbrell, Dennis Eckersley, Eric Gagne, Fernando Rodney, Francisco Rodriguez, Joe Nathan, John Smoltz, Mariano Rivero, Trevor Hoffman, and Troy Percival are the 10 pitchers in the modern era with 40 saves or more in one season, in multiple seasons. Very cool. I love that. Thanks for setting me up on that one.
That was good.
John
Cool.
has a PSA for everyone in that goes to baseball games in the crowd. Do you want to take it away, John?
Yeah, I want to talk about this lady in Toronto. She got struck in the face by a 110 mile per hour baseball that was hit by Bo Bichette. First of all, when you're at a baseball game, I know it's the new age now. You got your phone, I doubt you bring your tablet in, but you got your conversation and this and that or whatever. They tell you in the beginning of the game to watch for all objects flying, even with the netting around. Watch for any flying bats and balls off the objects off the field. For prime example, I was just at the Reading game the other day, and these kids almost got beamed. Like, right, it just missed this one. It was a bunch of kids strips behind me up in the bleachers. Thank God I had a club seat away from their yapping. This ball was fouled off so fast it almost beamed the teacher and this kid. And I'm like, see, that's why you should get off your phone. And everybody looked at me like, old man. But anyway, this chick got beamed in the face by a 110 mile per hour baseball. But she was a trooper. She stayed and watched the whole game. But then Miss Entitled wanted to tweet the Blue Jays and said, I got my face smashed in by a 110 mile per hour foul ball off Bo Bichette's bat. I didn't even get the ball. I even stayed till the end of the game. Any way you could hook a girl up. Now, I think it's your fault for not watching in the first place, to be honest. But the Tops went and got her made a limited edition set of her with the picture of her with the knot on her face. Like a bunch of copies, like a limited edition, like 800 cards, all, and gave it to her for her friends, her family, and friends. The Blue Jays did nothing for her. I don't think anybody should do anything for her. You know what I mean? It's common sense. Look at all times. Pay attention to the game. Everybody's like, baseball's boring. There's nothing happening. Basketball and hockey, something's always happening. Something's always happening in the baseball. Something's always happening. Like, just because there's not a home run or this or that, a ball could get fouled, a bat could crack and fly in the stands. Pay attention. But there is a moral of the story. If you take balls to the face, you may get a reward.
And that was a PSA from John Kruk. So I'd like to address this. You guys better not jinx this. If you think that we're jinxing this, you have not listened to T-Mac. I'm just saying. He's the king of jinxing.
We have a potential no-hitter in the second inning.
What's that?
We have a potential no-hitter in the second inning.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate T-Mac, but he does that.
I'm going to kind of, Dugan, maybe you stay out of this one for a second. But there was a really big, significant happening last night at Citizens Bank Park. Do either one of you guys know what it was? There was a milestone. We'll get to the second part of it if you guys know. You guys know what happened last night at CBP?
Yes.
What?
Nope.
It was the 14,000th home run got hit by JT.
So this is what I want to discuss. I was in a section. There's several hundred people around. The people right around me, as I was like standing up and cheering and saying, this is the 14,000th home run. No idea. The guy next to me literally said, and like 2 innings later, they put it up on the board. He literally said, "Oh, I thought you were like just using hyperbole, like
what the
exaggerating." I'm like, no, it was the 14,000th home run, dude. It's a huge milestone. Some years down the road, somebody's going to ask who hit the 14,000th home run in some trivia, and you're going to know it's JT because you were sitting here. No one around us knew, and I thought that was
hyperbole. That guy eats at Greens and Grains.
You know what?
You know what? I wish I wrote it down this morning on the morning show and I got a credit 97.5. They didn't do like every home run. They did like every 1,000 from like 1,000 up. It was a cool list and it was interesting. A couple guys that like hit some too. It was funny, but they went from 1,000 all the way up to 14,000 this morning. Some interesting names.
I thought Mike was going to make us name all 14,000 home run hitters. You know, I was waiting for that trivia question.
Dutch hit one.
That's a special episode.
As Rubel Cabrera hit one of them.
As Drubel.
During the Lieberthal era.
So wait, it's the 14,000 home run in Phillies history?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, is this a big deal?
Oh, it's a milestone.
You guys?
It's a milestone.
It's a milestone.
Yeah.
I just thought it was
a reason to have a beer, Chris. You know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a sneeze or a slight change in the wind could be that for us.
Well, that's true. All right, guys, let's get last thoughts. Johnny, your bottom left. Fire away, my friend.
I just want to say thank you to all the cool and friendly and loyal DPFers that came out and supported us this past weekend. That was like the best time ever meeting, talking and chopping it up with some people I already knew and meeting so many friendly faces and hearing how we put a smile on their face and we make them laugh with not only the page and the podcast. That really made me feel good. And I'm sure they came up to all, like we were talking before, they come up to all you guys too. It was a lot of people said this is the best party I've ever been to. Like-minded Phillies fans, I'll come back anytime. It was like hats off to our DPFers out there. It was really cool, and thank you for your support. And fuck the Mets.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I did a little research since we don't get to do that much because Mike does such a good job with the questions. But we talk a lot on this show about the importance of putting the ball in play. And I wanted to highlight a little bit of how good the Phillies have been at putting the ball in play over this homestand. So they just finished a 7-1 homestand against the Mets, the Nats, and the Rangers. And I'm going to read down the amount of times they struck out in each of those 8 games. 3, 9, 4, 4, 6, 7, 10, and 6. That's 49 times in 8 games they struck out. That 49 used to be a 3-game stretch for this team. Now we're talking about 8 games. And you see what happens when you put the ball in play. Today, Merrifield hits a ground ball. He hustles down a line. The shortstop has to rush. He makes a high throw. Next thing you know, we got a couple runs that inning. Bohm is constantly a guy that puts the ball in play, and consequently, he leads the National League in RBIs. Putting the ball in play matters, guys, and the Phillies are doing it at a real good clip right now, only striking out 6.13 times a game in this homestand. And I think it's important, and that was the adjustment that we talked about in spring training. We want to see them do more of, putting the ball in play, cutting down their swings, not striking out as much. And the proof is in the pudding. Cut down the strikeouts, you go 7-1 in your last 8 games. That's what we talked about, and it's coming true. So it's a good thing. It's a fun thing to watch. It's a fun to watch their at bats. They're not swinging from their asses, and they're putting the ball in play, and they're scoring a shit ton of fucking runs. And it's a lot of fun right now. So let's enjoy it while it lasts, and hopefully it continues long through November going this way. So, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, hearing 8 games and there's only one where there's Ks in double figures is amazing to me. And it's like that makes us all happy. So that's awesome. There's one of the we see a lot on the page that like people will be like, oh, you know what, you ripped this guy, 10 weeks ago or 5 days ago or 5 minutes ago, and what about now? Okay, like that's what we do. I think that's what true Philadelphian fans do. We're enjoying the ride right now, and to me, it's easier to come on the podcast and be pissed off, and I'm pissed off about the Bush furniture. But like, my God, like I'm enjoying every moment of this. I just can't believe, when you put into perspective and we're like, this is 1892 type stuff. Like this is once in a lifetime. It's been pretty amazing, and it's cool to share it with you 4 fellas and, the rest of DPF. And, fuck one of the other Bushes too.
There you go.
Fuck Bush's beans, the Bush beans or whatever the fuck.
Oh, I love the barbecue ones though.
Good, they're so good though.
Yeah, I love those barbecue.
The dog in commercials the dogs in commercials an asshole though.
Kelsey is on fire. She put in like 17 comments, but she is talking about Drew Barrymore getting smashed in the face in Fever Pitch. So thanks, Kelsey, movie. For listening and commenting. We appreciate you.
Balls to the face. Balls to the
and
face.
Fuck that Fever Pitch Red Sox bullshit. It's a soccer fucking movie. The real one, go watch the real one. That Drew Barrymore, she's an asshole, and fuck Jimmy Fallon. That fucking New York, Boston cocksucking motherfucker.
I like how you string them together. That's good stuff. DPF wife, forget about the damn JT hit. My daughter had her first legal drink at CBP.
Love it.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
Legal, right?
Yeah.
Very cool to be able to see you yesterday and say happy birthday. And finally,
cool.
I think this is the most pertinent comment we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Nancy thinks the Phillies are secretly watching the podcast and taking all our advice. I agree.
We talk about this all the time.
Nancy. Yeah,
all the time
we talk about it.
Just 1 or 2 more things here, guys. So I also want to say thanks to everyone who purchased our Salute to Service shirts. It was $2,150 donated to Battle Brothers Foundation this weekend. In talking with Brian Buckley, you guys have seen him on this podcast. He says every penny counts towards helping these servicemen and women. And so that is a huge donation for them.
Yes. In the garage, so
unbelievable.
Yep. Love it.
Can I throw in one more thing, Mike, before we go
off? Yeah.
Chris and I were gifted these unbelievable Drunk Phil's fan chains the other day by Adam, DPF for Adam. They were made by Crafty John. We got to wear them the other day at the game. These are the coolest thing. They're so much fun. Yeah, there we go. They're so much fun. So they're awesome.
There you go. Hey, you just transported me back to 1996, Chris.
Thanks to Adam and thanks to Crafty John. Those are awesome.
Remember, guys, before we sign off, go check out Pensive Technology if you need anything networking, internet, or home automation needs. Go to Yards, check them out. Hopefully, Schwarber is due for a homer, and you can check out their app and go to one of the participating bars and restaurants and get a free Yards Philly Standard coming up soon. And check out SeatGeek, Drunk Phil's Fan. All caps, all one word. You get $20 off your first purchase. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you guys next time. Go Phils, best team in baseball.
Woo!
Woo!